One of the key concepts around streaming is the platform. So what is the platform that customers will use to stream onto the big screen? So we know, of course, on laptops and computers, people use Windows and Mac OS X. You know, on mobile devices, it's iOS and Android. And on streaming, and then there's game consoles. But on streaming devices like Roku players and smart TVs, we're still in the stage where there's a fair number of platforms, but they're rapidly consolidating, and it's going to end up just being a few, just a handful of platforms. So in the streaming world, there's 4 things that are important. One is content. I'll talk more about that, but of course, that's why people watch TV, is to watch great content. The platform, you know, how do content companies author their content, you know, just once or twice and reach scale quickly, and how do consumers easily find content, use content, access content. Distribution and engagement's important. How often do customers watch streaming TV versus other kinds of TV, and I'll talk more about each of these. So on content, the first thing that streaming does is really give consumers lots of choice. They have more choice. If you think about it, in the old days, it was, you know, a couple different channels of TV over the air. And now with the internet, it's thousands and thousands of channels of content. Now there's no barrier to publish content. I mean, yes, you have large organizations like the BBC, but you have small individuals publishing content on YouTube as well. And so that's what the internet does. It opens it up and it creates a much more variety of content. On the Roku streaming platform, we have 1,200 channels of content. Everything, and I'll talk more about it in a second. But we call apps channels. But it's essentially an app on another platform. In 2013 alone, we doubled the number of channels on the Roku platform from 600 the year before to 1,200, and not just small channels, lots of big channels. You know, things like PBS in the United States, or Channel 4, Channel 5, Sky News, Sky Store. I mean, and there's more coming as well. So, all TV is moving this way, and it's a much better user experience. And consumers want to access different kinds of content, everything from news to sports to entertainment on their streaming platforms. One of the trends that we see in the market in the US is called TV Everywhere. It's this idea that content that's locked into a paid TV subscription is also available on other devices. And that's a very popular trend. You know, in the UK, Sky has been very forward-thinking, working on Now TV, bringing their content to the internet. In the U.S., probably the most forward-thinking company is Time Warner Cable, which has their complete cable lineup on Roku players in the U.S. And we've done a lot of surveys that all of them show clearly that when a pay TV operator's content is available on the internet, it increases customer satisfaction significantly. So customers are happier with their pay TV subscription. They're less likely to churn. So it's really good for everyone. In the case of Sky, they launched their Now TV service recently. They have a Sky box, a Now TV box that we designed. This essentially one of our platforms running our software, and it's available for £10. It's very popular. It's doing extremely well in the UK. Sky also is one of the Roku's investors. And then I mentioned Time Warner. In the United States, the complete Time Warner pay TV package is available on Roku, only in the Time Warner footprint. But if you're a Time Warner customer, you no longer need, it's not necessary. You can still do it. You can still get a Time Warner set-top box, but it's not required anymore. You can just get an app on the Roku platform, and all 300 linear channels, all their VOD content's available, and customers love it. And it's a lot less expensive for the operator as well. So the key for a streaming platform is that it has to work on different devices. So in the case of the Roku platform, streaming players as well as TVs, I'll talk more about that, but those are the fastest growing areas of streaming consumption is from those devices, smart TVs and streaming players. And then it has to be able to onboard content easily. It has to be very simple to use for the customer. It has to integrate with mobile devices. And there's just a tremendous amount of software, to build a good streaming platform. I mean, at Roku, we have, we're growing quickly, but today we have about 250 employees. Almost the majority of them are software engineers, and this is what they work on, adding more features to the platform. Everything from advertising systems, allowing advertisers to do targeted advertising, an SDK for third parties to write apps that run on the platform. So we have a click-through agreement where you can just download the SDK on our website, you can write your app, and you can publish it to the Roku installed base. Integrated billing systems, so content companies can do one-click subscription or purchases. Integrated search, so you can search across all the content available from different channels on our platform and find the one you're looking for. Mobile, of course, everything from casting to streaming your personal content to TV. Analytics, reporting, there's a lot more than this. This is just sort of some of the basics. So historically, for the last 6 years, Roku's been shipping these streaming players. We've sold about 8 million so far, and they range from 49 pounds to 99 pounds. We have the stick version, which just plugs into the stick in the side of your TV, up to the Roku 3, which comes with a really unique remote control. This is actually the remote here, and it has one of the coolest features. It's wireless, and it has a headphone jack on the side, so you can plug a headphone in and watch TV without disturbing people, or have your kids use it so that they don't disturb you. That's what I do. And then one of the things we announced at CES recently was the Roku TV Platform. So it's a complete reference design that we're licensing to TV manufacturers, and it also, of course, includes the software. And there's really a huge need in the industry for this. If you think about the way so-called smart TVs are sold today, you have Samsung, which is sort of in a class of its own, investing a lot of money into its R&D, into its platform. But you have everyone else, which is a large number of TV manufacturers, and there's just a couple problems. One is it's a lot of software. They're not good at this kind of software. Plus, it's just too expensive for them to do it, and they've fallen behind. They only have a few apps or a few channels. And the other problem is for content providers. We onboarded 600 channels onto our platform last year, and if you're a large, even if you're small, but even if you're a large company, you don't, maybe you support Samsung, Roku, Xbox, and then you're sort of done. That's 80% solution, and you really don't want to go and do deals with 20 TV companies. So, and you don't have the resources to do it. So, by licensing our platform, becoming the common platform across all these TVs, it solves a big problem for the TV manufacturers, and it also solves a problem for the content companies, so they can have a standard platform. Streaming hours are booming. On Roku last year, across all our devices, we streamed 1.7 billion hours of content, and that was up 70% from the year before. We streamed about 1 billion hours of content the year before. The average customer on Roku watches about 14 hours of television, although the top 25% of our customers actually watch 35 hours using their streaming players, so that's a lot of TV. Put a lot of effort into our user interface, and I'll give you a demo in a second. But we tried very hard to keep it simple as well as flexible, and this is just showing our search, for example, and then this is our main screen. I'll show you that in a minute. So a big part of being a successful platform is having customers love to use your products, and we spend a lot of time on this. We have a lot of passionate customers. This is some data that was from a survey that was done by NPD recently. So Roku is number one in terms of any of these platforms compared to Xbox, Chromecast, Apple, Samsung. Roku is by far the number one platform in terms of is it used every day? We're used more often every day by our customers. We're also, this chart doesn't show it, but we're also, when they do use it, they use it more hours per day than our competitors as well. So that's great for content companies because they of course want people watching their content. We also get the best word of mouth. We're about the same as Apple, but much better than everyone else. All right. So I'm going to do a demo. If we can switch over to the demo now. So I have a Roku 3 here plugged in, and I have this remote control. So excuse me. Ooh, sorry. So the way this works is you have sort of this main menu on the left, and then you have screens on the side, and if you click on the right button, it scrolls over to that screen. And then we also run these ads. So this is a lot of what we do in our platform is promoting our partners' content. It's also a revenue stream for us. In this case, it's not an ad. It's just a tip. But often ads scroll through there. Usually they do. And then over here on these tiles are the apps or channels that we call them that you've installed. So I've installed iPlayer, Channel 4, Channel 5, Vivo, and I'll show you a couple examples in a second. And then we have what we call the channel store, which is like an app store. This is where if you're a content provider and you publish your app on the platform, this is where it'll show up. And there's different categories. There's featured. So this is another way for us to promote different kinds of content. New. So these are channels that have been added recently in the last couple days. Most popular. So if you want to see what's used the most, you can go to most popular, and these are the channels that are launched and used the most. So Netflix apparently is more popular than iPlayer on this platform. YouTube is popular. Spotify. Music is actually about 10% of the streaming. So it turns out that people often like to listen to music on their TV. Yup TV. So this is an example of a foreign language channel. So the streaming platforms are a great way if you're an expat living in a different country and you want to watch TV from the country where you came from. This is a great way to do that. So this is, I think, Telugu, Indian language programming. And then games. So different kinds of games. It's not this particular remote control has a motion controller in it, like a Wii. So you can use it for like motion games. And I'll show you that. Paid. So we've got paid channels which you buy using an account. So when you first hook up your Roku, you create a Roku account. You put in your credit card number, and then there's one-click purchasing. So in this case, these are the top paid ads. Number 3 is Galaga, which is my favorite, actually, from when I grew up. And then Pac-Man. Let's see, films and TV. Games. So different categories. Weather, music is very popular. Photos, if you want to use your TV to look at your photos from Facebook or things like that, you can. Plex is a very popular app for streaming content from your. It lets you set up a server on your like your home computer and stream content from that, play content. International is what I was talking about a second ago. There are lots of different international channels. Food. So there's just a huge amount of, and a large variety of content. So I'll just show you a few. Let's see if I go to, so Netflix. For those of you who probably most people here have seen Netflix, but this is the standard, and it's also the latest version of the Netflix UI. Our network might be slow. Oh, oops! I'm not signed in, so you're not going to see Netflix. Let's see what else. Now TV is a great service from Sky. So it's different packages you can sign up for. For example, sports. They have a lot of their sports contents available on Now TV. Movies. They have a movie service similar to Netflix, but with a larger catalog of first-run movies. They have their entertainment services are also available. Let's see. And maybe I'll show you a game. So here's Angry Birds Space. So the motion control, we don't use it for the user interface. We're big believers that the UI should be super simple and that waving your remote is actually not a good way to browse a TV UI. And so for our normal TV navigation, we just use the nav buttons on the remote. But there is a motion controller, and it's used for games. Let's see, how do I do this? All right, so you just hold down the OK button, drag back your bird. It's better with sound. And then maybe I'll just show you one more thing and then wrap up. So Vivo is a really interesting channel. It launched about 6 months ago, and it instantly went to the top 10, to one of the top 10 channels on Roku. And it's really just music videos. It's pretty simple. You know, so you can pick from videos and watch them. All right, so that's the demo of Roku, and I hope I've given you a little bit of a sense of what it's like, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys might have.
Any questions? Because I have a bunch.
Okay.
So one of the interesting things about Roku is when I talk about it with people that don't know what it is, I tell them it's like an a la carte pay TV operator. And it really is. I think that's a very good description of it. Does that create, I mean, you've Time Warner's on the box, Comcast is on the box, and several other operators are on the box. Are they aware of how disruptive this device potentially can be?
Yeah, they are, and it's creating a lot of angst inside those companies. And they range, they range from like Time Warner and Sky, who are very forward-thinking, embracing it. They realize that it's the way customers want to watch TV, and if you don't give that to them, they'll go somewhere else. So all the way to other companies like I would say Comcast in the U.S. is probably one of the most resistant to it. But the reality is, like I said, we've done a lot of research, and customers that have say Time Warner or HBO or Fox, they have those channels on their Roku. They're happier customers. They're less likely to churn. So.
One of the challenges, of course, you mentioned 1,200 channels, is finding stuff. So how do you see Roku's role, the broader role? Obviously, you're aggregating together these channels so that they can be found in one place. Another thing you've just recently added is cross-channel search, and not all the channels are searchable, I think, but some are.
Right.
What are some of the broader roles that you see Roku playing now in this very, very large ecosystem?
Well, it's like the internet. There's lots of content, and there's different ways customers find it. One is, the good content kind of bubbles up to the top, and then it shows up in the most popular. Another is search. But one of our jobs as a company designing the UI is to provide ways for customers to find that content. That's an area we're obviously still working on. But one of the biggest ways for customers to find content is through promotion. So, there's this thing called the network effect in traditional TV where, you'll watch a large chunk of the ad inventory on a traditional TV show is used to promote other shows by that network. And, networks will run, after a popular show, they'll launch a new show. So that doesn't exist in an OTT world, and that actually is one of the biggest things the networks are worried about. And so one of the things we try hard to do is to provide a lot of promotional opportunities so they can get that same kind of promotion. So I showed you the banner ad, but there's also emails, there's advertising, there's video advertising in the product. There's the feature row. There's a lot of ways we've created for promotion, and so that's actually that's the best way for a company to launch on Roku is to start using some of that promotion.
So that's obviously helping out with the company making money, because it must be wafer thin margins on the hardware. Right?
Yeah, I didn't discuss our business model, but we have 3 business units. One is, we sell our hardware, and we make, it's a profitable gross margin business for us. But it's not the main way we generate revenue. The main way is actually through our service and content business. So that is things like promotion, advertising, one-click sign-up. Most of the content, not all, but most of the content that flows through our platform, we participate in the economics in some way. So if you rent a movie on Amazon, or then we get a % of that revenue. Promotion is another one. And then the third business unit is licensing. So we license our platform to TV manufacturers.
Right. We had a question back there. Yes, sir.
Hi, just a question about the DRM. How do you cover various requirements from operators and content owners on DRM?
I'm sorry, where's the? Where's the?
Back there.
Oh, back there. Hi. Yeah. So that's why we have hundreds of software engineers, because there's no standards. So whenever we launch, a lot of channels have DRM. We support different kinds of DRM. Everything from Microsoft Play Ready to just AES encryption, and also just streaming formats as well. I mean, everyone encodes differently. Getting 1,200 channels of streams to work reliably is a challenge. So it's just I think I would just call it brute force. We just put a lot of work into it.
And we have another one here.
Yeah, a quick question about your Time Warner model. Obviously, someone using a Roku box to receive their signals saves Time Warner money, because they don't need to spend CapEx to buy a set-top box.
Right.
But I would also gather that the same subscriber needs to subscribe to a higher broadband package. So would Time Warner be, let's say, up on their RPU and business model, allowing Roku to be a partner?
Well, so first I would say they're very happy with their Roku relationship. And not only does it save them money on CapEx, it saves them money on truck rolls, because it's self-serve. You go to Best Buy and buy the box, take it home and plug it in. It's easy to set up. And yeah, broadband upgrades is their most profitable business. And we actually sell thousands of Rokus a week to telcos and broadband providers, and they often give them away as a premium if you buy a higher package of broadband.
Other questions? I have.
There's one back
Oh,
there.
we do have one. Yes, I think right there.
I'd like to know about your expansion plans to other countries.
So, I mean, today we're in the United States, Canada, UK, Ireland. One of the models that for us is working well, and there's another way we make money, which I didn't mention, which is white label licensing. So we will license our platform to operators in exchange for a license fee, and then in exchange for that license fee, we either sell them the hardware if they want, or they can just buy it directly from our factories in China. We use the traditional manufacturers like Foxconn and Lite-On. And then we get an annual license fee, and also for that, we also run the back end. So we run the channel store. We let them curate the content if they want. So like the Roku box in retail has all our channels. The Sky Now TV box has the Roku channel store, but they curate it. Like, for example, there's no Netflix on that box today. And then that model has worked really well for us in the UK, and I think we're going to be expanding that model to other countries. So the same model. We're in discussions with lots of operators around the world. So.
Does Roku have a role on mobile beyond just remote control?
We get asked, like from our customers, will say, "Hey, can I get Roku on my mobile phone?" And just because they know that just means like a lot of content. But the reality is, every one of our partners has content on mobile phones already. Either they have their own apps like Netflix or Now TV, or they're in YouTube or something like that. So. So for us, our mission is to be the operating system for the big screen. That's what we focus on. So for us, the mobile is just in relation to the big screen. So, it's not just a remote control. You can use it as a remote control, and you can use it to cast. But it's also streaming your local content, like your photos and your videos that you've taken onto your TV. It's also, in the future, it'll be second screen experiences, being able to write an app for the Roku platform that also, has an alternate second screen UI on your phone. So those are all the directions we're heading in.
So actually, I was thinking, in particular, maybe could there be a role for like providing second screen sync applications?
Absolutely, yeah.
And stuff like
and
that?
second screen advertising, I think, is a big opportunity as well, where you have an interactive component of your ad that's synchronized to the video.
Okay, very good. So one last chance. We have a question over here.
Hi there. Is on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you see this as a supplementary service? And my question is kind of, are you saying the PVR isn't required in the home now with your service? Or can you see the Roku platform trying to address that basic need?
So there's today and then there's the future. So today, Roku is used different ways by different customers. Some customers it's supplementary. They use it just to watch movies or, cooking shows. And so the average Roku customer uses it 12 to 14 hours a week. So that's not all their TV. Well, for some people it might be, but for a lot of people that's not all their TV. 25% of our customers use it 35 hours a week. So for them, it's 100% of their TV. In the future, yeah, it's going to replace DVRs. I mean, DVRs are a stepping stone, right, to the world people want. What customers want is just to be able to watch anything ever made whenever they want to. And that's the world we're heading to. And DVRs are kind of a stepping stone in that direction. I mean, I was listening to the BBC talk today, and he said they're trying to go from 7 hours to catch up to 30 days. Well, someday it's going to be everything they've ever made. That's where they're going to go. And when that happens, you don't need a DVR anymore.